If you have separated from friends because your friends are unpleasant, or difficult, anti-rational, immature, abusive, manipulative, evasive, whatever, right? If you have separated from your friends for these reasons, then by golly, your friends are going to be heavily invested in your failure, right? Oh, he's just, she's become so judgmental, so he got into this cult and won't listen to people, and right, they come up with all these negative things, and of course they believe that these are bad ways to live, and therefore you're going to be unhappy. Oh, he's going to wake up one day, he's going to notice that he's all alone, and he's going to look back and he's going to regret, and he's going to come crawling back, and we're going to do X, Y, and Z, all this kind of stuff, right? All of that is, I guarantee you, that is what is going on in people's heads. And they will look upon the struggles and the challenges that you are experiencing in your pursuit of truth and reason against almost all historical tendencies, both personal and cultural and religious and political and philosophical. They will look upon your struggles and they will say, aha, you see, it is destructive. This philosophy that they have gotten addicted to, this cult nonsense, it is destructive, and they will be heavily invested in that, and they will use that as a great excuse to continue to float along down the anti-rational stream to the waterfall of misery that awaits them. And every failure that you have will be greeted with triumph by those who have opposing values. And their great dread and their great fear, and I would say deep down, their deep certainty, is that they are taking the cowardly route of avoidance and evasion. And they are mocking you for something that they desperately wish they had the courage to do themselves. And their great fear is that you are going to, in a sense, hit bottom and bounce far higher than they can even imagine. That after having struggled and sweated and trembled and vomited to give up the drug, that you will have a life of purpose and reason and joy and love and intimacy and honesty and openness and virtue. And that it will be too late for them. That because they invested themselves so heavily in opposing the path that you were on, that they will not be able to return to the fork in the road and take a better path, a higher path. That it's not going to be possible, that they will be stuck in the shit that they have wandered into, or propelled themselves into, really. And that is their great fear, and thus they will greet every perceived failure of yours with triumph. And they will greet every success that you have with skepticism and scorn and hatred and hostility. And if you are happy, you are faking it, and if you are sad, it is real, or it is self-pity, or it is some other, right? Because there's a whole language of emotionality that manipulators use, right? That if you're sad, it's just self-pity. That if you're happy, you're manic. If you're affectionate, you are stalking, right? If you're in love, it is just hormones, right? Everything is reduced to something petty and empty. And all of your positive feelings will be put into that category, and all of your negative feelings will be transubstantiated into something that vindicates the theory that disaster awaits you. And as time goes by, and I think this is really why it's sort of popping up more and more in my head at the moment, as time goes by, the desperate need for you to fail will become increasingly hysterical on the part of those who have not opposed you fundamentally. They've opposed real, true, honest values, but they personalize it into opposing you, right? As if by opposing you, they can oppose reality, right? So it's this fantasy that if you fail, the truth fails, which of course is not the case at all. So people end up really heavily invested in your failure, and the more that you succeed, the more this clamor of people will surround you and increase in noise. And I did not hear it within myself, but it's important. The more that you succeed, And the more that they fail, the greater their anxiety will be, and the greater the anxiety that you have, or the fear of retribution that you will have in your mind.